Shalom, shalom, Matthew 5:43. Who are your enemies according to the Bible? This is Matthew 5:43. Ye have heard that it have been said that thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemies. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and do of good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Now, these are the enemies that the Messiah was speaking about. So who are thy enemies? This is Micah 7:6. For the son dishonoreth the father, and the daughter raises up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his household, of his own household. So his own household, those are your kinsmen, your people, your nation, your brothers. Now, that's what Christ was talking about when he said, love thy enemies. He's speaking about the brothers of your household and your nation, you being a fellow Israelite. You know what I'm saying? Now, the real enemies of Israel is, let me get this too, because, you know what I'm saying, how do you, now the Lord said, love thy enemies. Get the icing on the cake. He said, love thy enemies. This is John 14:15. It say, if ye love me, keep my commandments. So the enemies, the Lord said, love them. So according to the Bible, love is when you keep the commandments. And the only people that was given the commandments were the Israelites. That's the only people that was given the commandments were the Israelites. So the Lord said, love them. You have to keep the commandments to them. You know what I'm saying? You have to teach them to keep the commandments. That's love. Your enemies. Now, let's go and get the real enemy. That's not their brother. That's not the Israelites. And another thing, too, the Lord said, if you love me, it say love them. Now, it say love the enemy. That means you got to keep the commandments. You have to love your brother. You have to treat him with respect. There's a scripture in the law, Deuteronomy, is saying, thou shalt not set a king over you that is not your brother. So you only supposed to love your brother, man, your people. So this is Psalms 83. It's saying, keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs, of Moab, the Chinese, and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon. Ammon is the Japanese. Amalek, the Jewish people, so-called Jewish people. The Philistines, the Africans, and with the inhabitants of Tyre, more Africans. So those are the enemies of Israel. The nations that come in our neighborhoods and set up shop, those are the enemies of the nation. But the Lord said, love your enemy. And the only way you can love them is by keeping the commandments. And the commandments was only given to the nation of Israel, the Israelites.